I want you to meet or re-meet, if you've heard him on the show. He's been on one or two times because he's one of the most generous guys you'd ever know. Bob Noonan, who joins me now, I spent a lot of time talking about the fight for mental health and asking you to contribute in various ways. And Bob's here to talk about an organization which is a fairly new one. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Nice to talk to you. How are things?
Good. Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Pleasure, as always. Talk about the Butz Legacy of Hope. First off, the name. Why is it called that?
Yeah, it was founded in Megan Butz' honor, who died in 2020 from suicide.
And
the Butz family are a very close family friend of Wendy and I and the whole Noonans here. So, several years ago, under another nonprofit, we did tuck in a Meg Butz Legacy Fund.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we started getting a lot of traction. And as we looked into, the issues around suicide, it's the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 14.
How about that?
Wow.
So we decided to expand the focus and start a new 501c3. It's fairly new. Just 3 months ago, we created it. We had our inaugural golf outing on a memorable day, 9/11, and we sold that out in less than a week.
Wow. Well, a lot of that's because Bob Noonan doesn't take no for an answer. And he makes those calls, and he takes those calls. Meg's Legacy of Hope, MEGS, Meg's Legacy of Hope.org is the website.
And it's just so important to, it's such a sad story, but we have to talk about it and generate awareness and get help for at-risk teens. And a lot of times, you may think this young adult is handling life just fine, but they're silently suffering. And it's important to know the signs, and it's important to get them talking. And I know that this organization, Megan's Legacy of Hope, is helping to do that.
100% agree. I mean, 46% of people who died from suicide had been diagnosed with mental health conditions. And 61% of Illinoisans aged 12 to 17 who have depression have not received any care in the last year. So what we're doing is we're focused in on helping make an impact and help the young at-risk young adults get the help they need.
I have been open throughout the many years about having clinical depression and losing two friends to depression and suicide-related issues of bipolar disorder. It's a very sensitive topic for me. You don't snap out of it. You don't walk it off. You don't put your phone down and just get some fresh air. Right. You don't judge people who are going through this any more than you would judge people who have cancer.
Right.
So we need to grow up and understand how serious this condition is. Well, the money raised by the Meg's Legacy of Hope.org organization, where's the money go?
Well, what we're doing is we're an all-volunteer organization, and what we're doing is identifying other nonprofits that have programs on the ground with experts to address this issue of mental health support and suicide prevention, or at least suicide awareness. And we're identifying and granting some of the funds we raise to these organizations who need help, can expand. In fact, at our golf outing on 9/11, we had such an overwhelming response that we were targeting to do a $30,000 grant cycle in Meg's honor on her 30th birthday. Well, we had such a great response. We're targeting to do 100,000, and we already our first 25,000 grant to an organization that is helping kids in college. It's called Skyward Bounds to help them get the counseling they need.
That's great.
So we are open. So we're opening up a grant cycle. And we're looking for, other nonprofits that have organizations, have programs on the ground, that just need to get some grants to expand or make a bigger impact. So we're just opening that up. I mean, it's amazing, Steve, the response we've had. I mean, we sold out, as I mentioned, the golf outing in less than a week. We didn't even have our 501c3 information back from the IRS, but we had so many of our supporters and friends say, hell yeah, our society needs this. I mean, Illinois does a pretty good job at this, but there's always room to improve. And if we can help one person avoid death by suicide, it's worth it.
One person, and you're doing such a great job. People like you and the Butz family bringing this to light and talking about their beautiful daughter. One of the things that I find so interesting and cool when you go to the website megslegacyofhope.org, the logo is beautiful, and you have the lotus flower as part of the logo. Explain that, because I think that's such a beautiful insight to what you're doing.
And the entire Butz family reflected a lot and came up with the lotus flower as our signal, because even down in the deep, dark holes of deep water, lotus flowers blossom. And, we use the analogy, it's out of something so dark and so tragic, we're going to blossom and turn it into goodness and help others. I mean, we're all God's children, and being able to help others is the sign of the lotus, is just coming from deep darkness and blossoming and helping others. And so it's fabulous. And I give my hats off to the entire Butz family for, MJ and Larry, the two co-founders of this organization. I'm honored to be the inaugural chairman of the board. They called me to ask me if I would come in, be a founding board member, and then take on the inaugural chairmanship. So very honored and looking to make a big impact. And we're going to have some fun.
The organization you mentioned before, was it Skyward Bounds? I want to make sure people, if they're curious about it.
Yeah, it's POC was the grant we made, and it's a program called Skyward Bound.
Spell it, will you?
It's Skyward, so SKYWARD, and then Bound.
Skyward Bound, Bound. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just want to make sure people driving around could at least hear it, and they can Google it up later.
Yeah, and that was an inaugural grant, and we've had such a great response that we're looking to identify a lot of the smaller nonprofits making an impact in this area of mental health counseling and assistance. And as I mentioned, we're opening up a grant cycle, so nonprofits interested to get more information, please hit our website. I know you guys have mentioned it a couple times, megslegacyofhope.org, and we will be taking applications through the fall and making some good grants by the end of the year.
Excellent.
Great.
As I said, you're a very generous man, always have been. We appreciate it, and keep it up.
Okay. Hey, Steve, it's great talking to you. We missed you at the golf outing next year.
Next year, we'll get our dates together, and I'll be more available, and I'll be there with bells on, which will be annoying because people will be golfing. But thank you, Bob.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
That's Bob Noonan. He's just one of those good guys. He's done well in life. He has an amazing personal story, nearly died, and had an incredible experience in being brought back, and is paying it forward every day.
Well, it's great
trying
for
to
him
help others
to step in and help his friends, and certainly, continue her legacy, and then also create awareness and help others. And like he said, if you can help one person, one family, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. So starts at Meg's charity, which again for Meg and Butz, only died in 2020.
Yeah, January.
So the family's grieving and will forever.
Of course.
But they're paying it forward by diving right back in to help others. megslegacyofhope.org.